my kitchen. My name is Sherry, and today's Friday, so I've got another Fab 5 recipe for you. So that means it is fabulous, but it only has 5 ingredients. So before I get started, let me just say, if you love food, you love fun, you are in the right spot. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss anything new. All right, so I don't really have a name for this recipe. I was just kind of going through the fridge and seeing what I could use up. And I had a chicken recipe I used the other night, and it had chicken and fennel in it. So I have about a half a bulb of that. I have some chicken tenderloins left over. I always have cheese, so we're nearing the bag, the end of the bag on this, so I can use that up. And then I had a dish last week. I bought 2 puff pastries, and I only needed 1. So I had one of those left over. If you don't have puff pastry, maybe you have some pie crust. You can use pie crust. You can make your own pie crust. And then I have some Caribbean jerk sauce. So we're going to be making kind of like a hot pocket, I guess, with puff pastry. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take I have got my Rockcrok here, so I'm just going to cook this in the microwave. You can also use like a rotisserie chicken. You can cook your chicken, you know, you can boil it if you want. You can roast it or whatever. This is really easy for me just to do it this way. The other thing I'm going to add in here is a little bit of oil. I'm just going to kind of add it to the sides. And a little bit of salt and pepper. And I will give this all a stir here in just a second. All right, and I'm just gonna roughly chop up my fennel. I don't need it to be perfect because I've got another really cool tool that's gonna help me finish this dish. Not finish the dish, but it's gonna help me chop this before we finish making our little hot pockets. So just one big slice down the center. All right. So I am about to knock my knife in the floor. I'm just going to kind of mix this all together. So make sure that my chicken is coated with the salt and pepper and the oil. All right, that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the microwave for about 5 minutes. Now, it's probably hard to believe it's going to cook in 5 minutes and that it's going to come out of the microwave and be juicy, tender, and all that goodness. But it is because I'm putting it in the Rockcrok. This can go under the broiler. It can go on the stove top, in the oven. It can go in the microwave, on a grill. You can also buy a base that'll turn this into a slow cooker. So it is a one-pot wonder. But like I said, you can use rotisserie chicken. You can roast your chicken, boil your chicken, or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and cook it this way. And then we'll get to making our little hot pockets. All right, our chicken is done, but go ahead and look at that. Can you see how juicy that is? Perfect. So I'm going to let this rest just a little bit. We'll let this cool off. And in the meantime, what we want to do is take our puff pastry. So again, if you don't have puff pastry, you can use a pie crust or whatever you have on hand. I bet you could do this with croissants too, if you kind of flatten them out and just roll it up on the inside. I am never graceful when it comes to puff pastry. I'm always scared I'm going to ruin it, for one. All right. So I'm going to grab my knife again. And I think we're going to cut this in 3s. 1. Does that look about even? Probably not. Just like that. So this is going to make 6. It's going to make 2 really big ones and 4 regular size ones. It should be fine though. So I'm going to set these aside. And I'm just going to roll them out. Well, before I do that, let me go back to this. We're going to use so these are our salad choppers. So they look like a pair of scissors, but actually they are 2 blades and a scoop. So you'd use them like this. Now, like I said, they're for salad, or at least that's how they're marketed. I like to use them for meat. So I just think they're perfect if, say you're doing like a roast beef. You know when you have to pull the beef or whatever roast you're making, you pull it out of the vessel you cook it in, and it's just kind of awkward and the juices are going everywhere. Well, with these, if you're going to make a sandwich, there's no point in pulling it out, and you don't have to. You just use these to chop it up. So I also use these for things like pork carnitas, chicken fajitas. I also use this for fruit, all kinds of stuff. And you know, if you don't like the fennel, just like you can swap out the puff pastry for pie crust, you can swap out all the other stuff too. You could use, you know, hamburger meat if you wanted to. As far as the chicken goes, though, I thought of a bunch of different things I wanted to use. I thought about doing some chicken and some mozzarella with some sun-dried tomato pesto. thought about doing some chicken, some bacon, and some cream cheese. Anyway, I had a bunch of different ideas, so I'm going to post those in the description below, along with the full recipe for what I'm doing here. All right, this looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to transfer this into a bowl. All right, set that out of the way. And I'm going to add in probably a couple of cups of cheese, I would say. And I'm probably going to have to find some pie dough or something because it looks like I'm going to have way too much chicken. But at least I got to use some of it up. And you know what else I could do? I think I've got some biscuits in there. I could take this and mix it together, put it in some little ramekins, and then top it with the biscuits and bake it. And it kind of be like a little bit of a pot pie, I guess. All right, we'll stir this together. All right, that's looking good. I think these are going to be cheesy. So I'm going to add my sauce. So I've got Caribbean jerk sauce here. So you could use, you know, a hot wing sauce if you wanted to. That'd be great. Hot wing sauce and blue cheese would make another great one. But you could use barbecue sauce or whatever you like. I just had this that I wanted to use up, so that's what I'm using today. And I'm just putting in enough kind of just to moisten everything and just give it some flavor. I don't want it too wet. I don't want it to come oozing out the sides of our pastry. Oh, that smells good. I love jerk seasoning. All those spices. All right, I am going to give this a taste real quick. I'm going to put in a little more sauce. I can taste it. The flavor's not quite there yet. All right, that is looking good and smelling good. So now I'm going to take my puff pastry and we're going to roll these out just a little bit. So this is my little baker's roller I'm using here. And then we're just going to take a little bit of our filling, place it right in here. And then I'm just going to fold the top over. And let me see if I got my fork over here. I'm just going to press this together with a fork. Just to make sure it's sealed. And that is it. All right, so I'm going to try to gently pull this off of here. And I've got my pizza stone that I'm going to be cooking these on today. You can just do this on a cookie sheet if you like. I had it bust open there. Let's put it back together. Gentle, gentle. I'm going to put just a couple little holes in the top. There we go. All right, so I'm going to finish these and then we'll bake them off in the oven. All right, so I got them all filled, and as you can see, I have quite a bit left over. So what I would do with this is grab some tortilla shells. I would either make some tacos, some quesadillas. I would do something like that with it. Like I said, you can always use it and make it some kind of a pot pie. You could add some vegetables in. But anyway, 400 degrees. This is going to go in the oven for 20, 25 minutes probably. Oh my goodness, just look how beautiful they are. I am ready to bite into one of these. Pull it up off of there and get it on a plate. All right. I tried to let them cool off just a little bit. We'll see. We got a winner. We got a winner. So good. It's flaky. It's cheesy. And all the flavor that you get from the jerk sauce. So, so good. Oh my goodness. You guys have to try this one. So, so good. I gotta have another bite. I really encourage you not only to try this, but try it with the puff pastry. Like I said, you can use a pie crust or whatever you have on hand. But I just love the flaky, buttery crust of the puff pastry. Yeah, and like I said, there's so many different things you can do with it. So I'm going to post those other ideas I had in the description below, along with the full recipe for this. And I thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.